Man, I know some of you don't like that music, but it wakes me up. And on a Saturday, after working 60 hours a week, sometimes I need that. Now, let's get into it. There is so much going on. Somewhere on the grounds of Windsor, someone is pulling a reverse Paul Revere and screaming, "The Sussexes are coming! The Sussexes are coming!" Please, I hope you all got that historical reference. Now, it's a lot of fact versus fiction going on. So let me tell you exactly what we're going to get through today. And I got my friend Michelle from Royal Daily Tea to discuss. We're going to bring her up in just a hot second. But here we go. We got a lot going on. We got Harry and Meghan's security situation. Who's paying for it? I know who it is. The Olive Branch residents. Where are they going to stay? I think I know. Then we've got William versus Charles, the supposed civil war. Meghan to launch another business during this trip. Is she going to soft launch? We'll get into it. And some of the other nonsense, which it is actual nonsense. I just need to tell you all right now, Meghan does have 2 children. Their names are Archie and Lily, and she gave birth to them. I'm sorry if you do not believe that, but trust me, in the business, it's called sealing the deal. And she sealed that deal with Harry twice. So I'm going to bring in my friend and royal commentator, Michelle. Hi, honey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Now, before we get into it, I want to read this piece from another friend of mine, Alison Boshoff, who is fabulous. And I love this piece. It came out in the Daily Mail, and some of it is on her Substack. So anyone who does not belong to Alison's Substack, y'all should go on, as well as Michelle's. And it's interesting. She's saying a lot of what I've been saying. So we're going to go through it. All right?
Sounds good.
She says the Sussexes' emotional blackmail of the king. Yes, that is true. The timing was pure Sussex, while many royal journalists were at Ascot and watching the Prince and Princess of Wales wreathed in smiles. Out came the news that Meghan and the kids were going to join Prince Harry in the UK next month. Harry has long since announced he'll be coming to launch the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham in July. Again, you guys, he has to. They need cash desperately. And by they, I mean Invictus. Also, Meghan and Harry, we'll get into that later. Straight away, the triumphant briefings began. One said that the king had paved the way for this to happen by paying for Harry's security. In fact, it is not possible to pay for this security. By the way, 100% true. If it was possible to pay for this kind of security, guess what? Harry would have paid for it. In fact, he also offered to pay. All right, sorry, went a little off script there. Another, that the king had given assurances over Prince Harry's security. He has not, and this is exactly what he won't do, because he will not get involved in countermanding the Home Office, who determine it, which is why the whole problem has dragged on and on. On Friday afternoon, writers apparently briefed by the Sussexes said that Harry and Meghan will be staying in a palace provided by the king. Not quite. They've been offered a palace to stay in, as Harry has always been offered on previous visits. He has always declined as of Friday night, and they had not actually let the palace know if they were going to accept. Ooh, these Sussexes love some drama, don't they? The prince's position previously was that Buckingham Palace was not safe enough for him. So how could it now be safe enough for him, Meghan, and the children? But the triumphant symbolism of it now, perhaps, is just too ripe to be resisted, especially as the Sussex star is falling. Sources in royal circles say the king felt bounced into his last meeting with Harry, which was in September. That meeting lasted under an hour, and the queen pointedly did not attend. It does not seem that it moved the dial in terms of the personal relationship between them. And here the king is being bounced again. Nobody at the palace had the first idea that the announcement was on its way and that Meghan and the children would be joining Harry. Of course, he will be delighted to see the grandchildren he doesn't know and who Harry has long refused to bring, citing security concerns. But the words emotional blackmail are being used about the announcement and the briefings which have followed. Not the first time when it comes to Harry and Meghan. There's astonishment from sources in royal circles over untruths being spun, and they are clear that this is not the way to repair relations. The Sussexes will have their meeting, but their behavior likely damages the chance of a reconciliation, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Michelle, this goes into the whole point of this show is that, yes, the Sussexes are coming, and the spin is completely out of control. The Sussexes have their camp. The palace has their camp. Then there are people, not unlike my friend Tom Sykes, who will report both camps to let us all decide. So the thing is that the big security meltdown, and this is really important, and Allison does bring up a very good point, that you can't buy this type of security. You simply cannot look at the police and say, I'm a celebrity or an influencer, which is what Harry and Meghan are now.
Right.
And then say how much to buy MI6 or how much to buy the police.
Right. You cannot buy the Metropolitan Police. And as a matter of fact, Harry kind of outed himself that he actually never really intended to buy the police. He thought it was his birthright. Remember that interview he gave last year where he's like, he served his country for 35 years. Apparently he served from the crib. So he thought because he's the son of the king, he is entitled. So first they came out with that fake story that, you know what, we don't want to pay for the taxpayers to pay for us. Metropolitan Police, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. The case was that they wanted the taxpayers to pay for them. They even sued a tabloid who broke the story when they said that they wanted the public to pay for their security. Harry and his team fought back and said, no, that's not true. We're trying to buy the Metropolitan Police. And you're correct, Paula, you cannot, as a citizen. So therefore, the whole thing was a lie. Yeah. And Harry knew it. Harry thought that he was due to have it because of his princely privilege. And so he's a liar, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, well, I'll be nicer about it. And I will say his recollections constantly vary, as according to yes. Exactly. So who's going to pay for it? Let me tell you who's going to pay for it. The British taxpayers.
Yeah.
And here's why. Number one, the RAVEC has said they will give local protection. That means in Birmingham for the Invictus Games.
Right.
Period. Possibly for Wellchild or Scotty's Little Soldiers, the other things. And the other protection will come if they stay on a palace ground. Now, who pays for the palace protection? That is, in fact, the taxpayers paying for the king's protection. So guess what, UK taxpayers? You on the hook for it all. Now, they're not staying at Buckingham Palace. Nobody lives there anymore. It's insane. There's been some chit chat of where they're going to go. Will it be Windsor? Will it be Kensington? And I have said, I believe it's going to, well, this is Kensington, but I believe it's going to be St. James for the simple reason that the only person who has a residence in St. James is one, not the only person, but the only person in their immediate circle is one of the York sisters, and they get along. And also William ain't there.
Right. They're definitely not going to Windsor. I believe that the royal family was very smart and very strategic in what they did. So people forget, this whole Operation Thaw, I'm sorry, but I don't believe it exists. I don't. They kicked them out of Frogmore Cottage so they wouldn't be comfortable in the UK. So when they come, they're treated like the redheaded stepchild, and they get the room over at Buckingham Palace, or they get a place at St. James's. They're not staying at Windsor Castle. They're not staying at Clarence House. So these are really their only two options, but they always usually take a hotel. So Harry and Meghan are very paranoid about being surveyed. And let's be honest here, the royal family has them under lock and key and on a very short leash. So this whole thing about, King Charles wants to bring him back. If that man wanted to bring him back, he would be back. Okay, he would have been there for Christmas at Sandringham. He would have been at the wedding. They wouldn't have taken away Frogmore Cottage, and they wouldn't have stalled 2 more people for the counselors of state. They have pretty much did a fail-safe where Uncle Andy and little Prince Harry will never get the keys to the castle. Okay, so let's be real here. Harry wants to chuck his kids through the window of Kensington Palace so bad, but it's not going to happen. They're going to give him a little option, and if he doesn't want it, then he has to pay for his own hotel. Yep. So I think that's probably going to happen, and I'm going to say it. I don't believe those kids are going to the UK.
Oh,
I'm going to lay it down. They're not going.
Okay, well, I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I think that the only way, and people need to understand right now, Charles has nothing on his calendar for Harry. His calendar is full up, and nowhere in there is a meet with Harry. So I think this is his only way of getting an audience with his dad is if the kids come.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I believe the kids will come. I believe that Meghan will come because she needs royal sheen on her. She needs to be seen as accepted again. I do believe any meeting will be private and no photos allowed, not unlike at Lily's birthday back 4 years ago when Lily met the Queen 4 years ago, and the Queen adamantly said, no photographers. Knock it off.
I do agree with that theory that the only way they would bring the kids, they're not going to bring them out to the public. They're not going to be public faced. It would only be as like a blackmail for King Charles.
Right.
And it would be a private meeting with no photos. Absolutely.
100%. And the reason why I say that Meghan and the children are coming is both ITV and the BBC have confirmed it. So the BBC, ITV, everyone says, oh, that's Harry's outlet. And it is. So when Harry says his wife and kids are coming, they are coming. And the BBC is, of course, the BBC. Now, I know that people have problems with the BBC, but they do fact check quite vigorously on royal things, maybe.
Okay, well, that's news to me because as far as I knew yesterday, it was kind of iffy because we never believe what Harry and Meghan say. They had to change a story that came out saying that they might. So again, I know Meghan is coming for sure, but the kids I thought were iffy. And if they did, they would be private. Now, in my opinion, Meghan is coming out because this is a test run for Invictus in 2027. She needs to reintroduce herself to the public of the UK people. They want to make sure they're not throwing tomatoes at her or booing her. And she needs to kind of, in my opinion, resurrect that reputation because it's not going well over there in Montecito. And I do believe that if Harry wants to come back to the UK, he's going to bring Meghan. But Meghan is like, they don't like Harry, but they dislike Meghan more.
Yes.
And so I think they're trying to do this as a blueprint test run for the Invictus. Because let's be honest, this is a countdown. It's not even like a really big deal. Why would they bring their kids and Meghan for this when for the 10th anniversary in 2024, Meghan didn't go to that. And that was at St. Paul's Cathedral. They actually did have Metropolitan Police protection then, right? That was a huge deal. Meghan didn't go to that, but she's going to go to a countdown.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. It has a 1 year countdown. You would think it would be more, but again, they have to because the government has given £29 million for Invictus. And it's supposed to be matched by private and corporate donations. And so far they only have 4 million. So Harry needs to go and do apparently what he loathes the most, drum up business. He claims he doesn't, but then again, we all read Charlotte G-string Griffiths messages during the trial of Harry against the Daily Mail. Now, the most interesting thing for me is that they're planning on staying 2 weeks. They are going July 6th, 2 days after I leave the UK, which I know, I love it. But they're going July 6th, and they're apparently planning on staying for 2 whole weeks. That's
I heard 5 days. Wow. Okay. So 2 weeks now. Yeah, I knew they had 5 days in the UK. Now maybe they have extended it. Yeah, because I know he has that one event on the 10th, which I believe is the one event for the countdown, and the rest is going to be his other charities. And that Meghan, as far as I know, maybe you know differently, isn't going to be doing any solo thing. She's just going to be tagging along with Harry. So I don't know if that has changed. So,
well, according to Alison Boshoff, it is now 2 weeks, and I trust Alison. She has immaculate sources, impeccable sources. Where the hell did I get that from? I think I was I went to go visit church this week. We'll move on. I do think it is interesting. If they stay for 2 weeks, then it's going to be impossible for Charles to not fit them in on the schedule. And Harry's going to want more than one time. So
that's interesting.
That's going to be something for all of us who follow the days of our Montecito lives. You guys, it's literally, this season is ramping up. I believe we're going to stay at St. James Palace, which of course suits Meghan. She loves a palace. She hates a cottage. But I also think that if they come back again as a family, that will become their base in the UK. They're also wanting to go to Sandringham while Prince Charles is up there for the flowers show. And William has let it be known, hell no, not in the main house. Because if you in the main house.
Right. That's going to be a problem. I think William's going to be very scarce.
William's on vacation. He's already told them, I'm out. Me and Catherine, Catherine and I are very busy, and we will be nowhere near London or Sandringham Estate. Goodbye. We're hanging out with the children and doing other events. We're not going to be there. But now there's this talk of a civil war between the king and William. And I'm hearing from my source, who's good friends with the king and the queen, that this is not true.
Right.
You know,
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. Like I said, every family has disagreements. If that's the right word.
Disagreement.
Hello. It's early, Paula. It's early. If I haven't had my coffee. So every family has disagreements. But at the end of the day, King Charles is the king, and the monarchy comes first. And his son, William, is the heir. Yes, they're going to not see eye to eye. You've got, 30-year age difference between them. They're different generations. William wants to come in and clean house and change things. And, King Charles is pretty much running his mother's monarchy. He hasn't made any changes. He's trying to keep it, in my opinion, I always call him the placeholder king, because he's trying to keep it together for William. William is the one who's going to make the actual changes. I think that King Charles, he was an older king when he inherited the throne. Again, he's just trying to continue what his mother started, but there definitely needs to be a lot of changes. And I think William is the one to do it. So there's going to be butting of heads, but at the end of the day, Harry and Meghan have done a lot of damage to the family, to the monarchy, and to bring them back under what circumstance? Look at Uncle Andy. Look at the disaster that he has created for the royal family because they were too nice. They gave him too many allowances, and now it's biting them in the arse, right? Biting them in the arse. So they're not going to let Harry back. It's been 6 years. They might bring him back as a family member, where he can sit next to Uncle Andy in the church pew. Okay.
Oh,
But
wow.
he's not coming back as a working royal in any capacity. They have already done the counselors of state. They removed his permanent residence from Frogmore. He's not invited to family weddings. He doesn't go for Christmas. So again, he is Team William. They
Yeah.
might butt heads on how to handle him, but at the end of the day, William is the heir to the throne.
I
That's
actually
my
agree
2
with
cents. Yeah.
practically everything you said. You know, I do think there are tensions between the two. I do
Yes.
think, and I know, I take it back. I know that William is frustrated
Oh,
and
yeah.
has cut off his brother, and there's no chance of reconciliation.
No, it's done.
Is his wife, his children, and the firm, period. Probably in that order. But I do think that Charles has a fine line to walk. That is still his son. But I agree that William and the throne
Yeah.
are going to have to come first, especially after
Yeah.
the very bad behavior, and especially as we've all seen what happens when Meghan doesn't get her way. She gets angry, and things like this happen. The
Oh, dear.
book and the tell-alls. And the last thing anyone ever wants is to be in her presence again so that she could write a book about what happened during this summer, during next summer, and nobody wants a sequel to
Yeah.
Spare.
I
Yeah.
personally believe that the king wants nothing to do with Meghan. I think he would see Harry, but with Meghan, because you have to remember, Harry and Meghan were very cruel to Camilla. What he wrote about her in the book Spare, 2 months later, he kicked them out of Frogmore.
Yep.
People forget about that. They came for Camilla, which was the biggest mistake they could make. In
Yep.
my personal opinion, I think they would give Harry a chance, but Meghan, no. The kids, unfortunately, I think they've written it off. They already know that, unfortunately, they're probably never going to have a relationship with those children because Harry and Meghan are not going to let them because everything is on their terms. And everyone in a family has someone like that where you love them, but you know if you invite them in, it's just not worth the hassle and you
Yep.
have to love them from afar. And I hate to say this, but I really do believe, and I could be wrong, that William and Catherine and the kids will not see Harry and Meghan until King Charles's funeral. I
Wow.
don't see them having any kind of relationship at all. I mean, just the hurt and the betrayal that they're constantly doing for 6 years.
I think they will see Meghan this trip because I think they will have to. If they see Harry, and if they want to see the kids, Meghan will be there. There's no way in Sam Hill she is going to let those kids go anywhere without her, if not as pawns in, or I'm sorry, checkers on their checkers board, because I don't believe they know how to play chess. I think a lot of the information coming out right now is from the Sussex side. And I think that the palace is saying, hey, right now we're offering you everything we've always offered you, a place to stay in a royal residence, period.
And they have security. They've always had security. This is what a lot of people don't understand. He's never been left out to dry. Every single time he's gone in the UK, he's been offered a free place, which I would take a room at Buckingham Palace. I would take the coat closet. Give me a turkey sandwich and free Wi-Fi. I'm a happy girl. It's free. Come on, Paula. We would live it up there. But I mean, they always give them a residence, and they do have protection. It's just not the bells and whistles that he wants what the king has, right? And he's not the king. You're fifth in line to the throne. But do you really think that William and Catherine are going to see Harry and the kids? I think that's not going to happen, but possibly the king and Camilla. Right. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, for 2 weeks, good Lord, those poor people, I feel bad for them.
It's 2 weeks of causing ruckus. If they do go for 2 weeks, it will be massive ruckus causing. And
I thought it was 5 days. So 2 weeks. What the heck is he going to do for 2 weeks? Exactly.
That is what the Daily Mail, Alison Boshoff, are reporting. And they're going to do a lot of damage in 2 weeks. And we are probably going to be on this every day while they're there for 2 weeks, because it will be a daily soap opera. No weekends off.
Bring our popcorn, Paula. Call me. We'll do this on the phone again. We'll do this.
I know. Well, the other thing is, about the other fact versus fiction, the Meghan relaunch angle. So, rumor is she's coming back to soft launch her new family business. And I say not yet false. I say that she will have to soft launch a family business. She may show the kids' faces, but after making a few calls last night, she will likely do what she did with the Queen, which is show Lily on a lawn later after Lily's aged out of that.
Yeah.
But I think she's still all in on as ever, even though you and we all know there's no way that business is succeeding. She's going to sunset it out, but she still has 2.5 years to sunset it out. Actually,
yeah,
around 2
I
years.
agree. I believe she's going to soft launch herself. I believe this is a reputation repairing movement that, again, they're reintroducing Meghan to the UK public because remember, she hasn't been there in 4 years and she was there for the Queen's funeral. I believe they need to do some reputation repair if they want to bring the business, if they want to bring the kids. So this is going to be Operation, reintroduce Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and kind of show people what they've been missing, that little Meghan magic that she thinks she has. I do believe she's going to cosplay Catherine. She's going to wear a whole bunch of fancy smancy outfits and put them on her little app. She's going to be merchant. This is going to be Australia 2.0, Invictus 2.0, because Meghan's not going unless Meghan can do Meghan. So this is going to be a very self-serving, again, test run for Invictus 2027. And I do believe because she has trademarks, she's working on Australia, Canada, and the UK. She has limited herself to the United States. Her target market has died. She's not grown any new audiences. She's not getting any new fans. And her products have about 18 months left. So again, I personally think she should just check it all to Ross, TJ Maxx, call it a day, let it go. But if she wants to expand globally, she has to have new product. And Netflix has dumped her. So everything now is coming out of her pocket. She has a lot of free merch left over, but as we know, it's the time's a ticking. So in order for her to grow and expand in the UK, she has to repair her relationship with the people and the royal family and show relevancy to the royals, because every time that year goes by, they're falling into obscurity. Okay, they're becoming the new Uncle Andy and Fergie 2.0. Okay, they need to send them a fruit basket because at least they make them look good, right? But again, at the end of the day, her business is faltering, her popularity has died, and they need to do something or he's never going to come back to the UK ever. So I do think this, like you said, is a repair of Meghan. It's a test run. She's going to merch it. It's going to be a whole thing that we've seen because they want to do more of those tours.
I think she's also, and I said this before, I'll say it again, that she is re-auditioning for the roles. So she will be curtsying quite deep for King Charles, Queen Camilla, if she shows up. And I think Queen Camilla might, just to support her husband, especially if it's going to be longer than a T. But she has to re-audition for them to say, look, I can behave. Look, I can do this. So that I think possibly if she were smart, she would roll back her behavior. She might listen to people and not actually market any of her outfits, which of course she will do.
She will do.
In fact, if she was smart, she would just keep her investment in one-off and take herself off one-off completely. There are enough people on it, or enough D to Z listers on it, and she is definitely re-auditioning not just for the royal family but for everybody. Public. And it's at a very important time because her popularity levels are just above Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's, just above. And Harry is still a little bit more popular. But people really don't like him right now. And of course, they are both trying to burnish their charitable reputations because nothing else has worked. Okay, we'll go into charity. And I'm not sure how well that's going to work, especially, I spoke to Scott Snow from the Dusseldorf Invictus Games, who was horrifically wounded. And I spoke to him again this week. There is some news coming out about Scott next week. I will have that.
Yeah.
But it's horrific. Anyone who wants to go to the Invictus Games should be given a warning. Guess what? If you get hurt, Invictus not only will not cover you, they'll probably never talk to you again because they're worried you might sue. So you'll be out on your butt alone over there. It's really quite disheartening how they treat team members. But both Harry and Meghan need to show their charitable side. Harry said that's all he wants to do. Right. Unfortunately, he also, I mean, you know, there's been talk, and people have dug up some of the records about his personal gift to the BBC's Children in Need.
Right.
You know, I think neither of these two realize that what charity really needs is boots on the ground for more than 2 hours and cash. And he, you know, and I remember calling the BBC and saying, hey, did that check cash or was it a pledge? They said, no, check cash. It was from Harry. But it turns out it was from a Diana charity that closed. You know about this.
Well, basically what happened was Princess Diana in 1981 formed a charity. And after she passed away in 1999, they dispersed the funds. 2 years after she passed away in 1999, they dispersed the funds evenly between Prince William and Prince Harry. And they named both of their charities after, I believe, some property in Scotland. And unfortunately, I can't remember the name of it. But Harry's took money from that charity that was technically inherited from his mother to him. But again, it was money raised from a charity. He took those funds as his charitable contribution, telling everyone it didn't come from R12 Foundation. It came from me personally, which it technically didn't. It came from money raised by his mother's charity, which in fact was put into a trust where he inherited the money. So was it an inheritance that he used and said, it's my personal money, I'm going to use it as a donation? Yes, that could be the case. But ultimately it came from the Beg Foundation. I apologize, I don't remember the name, but it came from that charity that his mother had originally set up and received a ton of money. And both him and William have that charity. So that foundation is where he got the money. It wasn't technically from his own wallet. And here's my problem with Harry and Meghan and charity. They're not good at it. They're not good at it because you can't mix profit and charity together because the lines get blurred. People are so confused about the R12 Foundation. When is it profit? When is it for charity? They seem to double dip. They get money from the Invictus Games. She merches the clothes. It's like they're always working an angle to make a dollar. And after a while, it tends to make people not trust you. And they feel like, wait a minute here. Like with William and Catherine, 100% charity. We know they're not working an angle. They're not merching their clothes. They're there to raise awareness for their charities. With Harry and Meghan, they're always making a buck. They're getting these speaking gigs, and then he puts in a charity event, and then she's merching the clothes. It's like the blurred lines between charity and philanthropy and profit. You can't tell the difference. It's really weird. And then you have these things about the charity telling people, oh, I gave it out of my own wallet. No, you didn't. It was out of a foundation of money sitting there that your mother had set up and raised. But okay. And then the whole thing with the new Sussex family business, the R12 Philanthropies, where they literally said the kids are getting in, y'all. They're getting in on the family business. Like, what? You're going to now use your children for charity and money? What? What is that about?
Exactly. And also, Meghan's going to go to One-Off, or she's going to and sell all of her outfits from Invictus, from Bondi Beach, from the hospital, and none of the proceeds she gets will go back to them. I would be able to stomach it if she was to wear an outfit to Invictus and a note would say, all proceeds of this outfit go to Invictus. All proceeds of this outfit go to the Royal Children's Hospital, or victims of Bondi Beach, or victims of anti-Semitism. She does not do that. And even the 10 to 25% that she's making on those outfits, I mean, that's chump change for them. That won't even keep the lights on for a week in that mansion in Montecito. So I don't even know what they're doing. It's just walking around money for them, for you and I.
You clean those 16 toilets. Yeah. So,
exactly. But, You know, I do think her only thing with one-off, the big payday, is if it ever sells, and then she gets the payday from her investment. Lord knows what that actually is.
Yeah, so she was a dolphin investor. I always say dolphin investor with her little clever blends and her one-off. So again, how much money does she actually invest in these companies? We have no idea.
None.
But, yeah, she's the princess of profit. I mean, it's just, she's just in it for herself. And I would have had more respect for them if they said, look, we just want to make money and we want to go to Hollywood. Great, go do that. Go become the new Kardashians. But don't pretend that you're actually philanthropic.
Don't pretend you're Mother Teresa or Princess Diana.
Exactly. It's choose the Instagram Duchess.
Mm-hmm.
She just does everything that looks good on the gram. You know, she's fake. That's the problem people have with her. She's fake, and he's always whinging. It is self-pity. 6 years later, it's like, you left. You chose this life. Why are you crying about it?
It's funny that you say that, because I did write a column about, I think it was like a year or two, or no, it was 2 years ago. And I wrote a column for the Free Press. And and it was why Americans don't like Meghan. And it's because America values hard work, and she doesn't seem to give any. Americans also prefer what you see is what you get. And I think what she sees is not what any of us get. But Michelle, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You guys, everyone should follow Michelle on the Royal Daily Tea. She's fabulous. Her link is in the description. So there we go. I love you, Michelle. I will take you backstage for a little bit. We'll come back because I got to give everybody their daily Doug. All right.
Okay, just before I go, everyone, Rob Shooter is going to be on my show tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central, 11 a.m. PST, and 2 p.m. EST. So make sure you tune in for me and Rob Shooter tomorrow.
All right. We'll talk to you in a bit. All right, guys. As promised, I've got you a little daily Doug. And I hope that this episode was enlightening. I know I saw some of the comments, you know, there's no children. Meghan never gave birth. Yes, she did. Harry might not be Charles's son. Trust me, he is. Everyone's got a little red in that family. But the fact versus fiction is important. Do not buy that Charles is paying for security. He is not. It's you, the British taxpayer. That's right. And by the way, Harry and Meghan have not gotten RAVEC security, nor do I think they will, because at least not anytime soon. Yes, James Holt is now working for the Lib Dems. They are not in power, but they could pair up with the Labour Party, which is in power and is also sympathetic to Harry. So there we go. I really hope you appreciate it, enjoyed it. Now we're going to get you a little bit of the turd bird. All right. It's a short one today because he had a rough week. Yes. You can hear him snoring in a second. It was a loud snore. Unfortunately, it does not quite, didn't quite go as loud as I thought it was. Because let me tell you what, it woke me up. He often wakes me up snoring. I love him. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you. I love this community. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Also, my Substack, I do come out with some bangers a couple times a week. They are exclusive, and I do put it up before I talk about it. So if you want everything first, go there. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I'm going to go wake up the turd bird. I thought he was right there, but apparently my voice made him move. Yes, I see why. Okay, bye.